Hello everyone, welcome back to Go Natural English. Today we are diving into 10 proven language learning strategies that will help you to learn any language fast, no matter your starting point, no matter if you're a beginner, intermediate level, or advanced, just brushing up. So first, before we dive into the 10 proven strategies to learn any language fast, no matter your starting point, I want to cover 3 common mistakes. The first one I see, especially with my English learners, but also with my Spanish learners. I don't know if you know this, but I used to teach Spanish as well. Before I started the Go Natural English channel, I was actually a Spanish teacher, but English is my native language, so I thought I can probably help people more with my native language. Anyway, I think that anyone learning any language often focuses too much on grammar. And while grammar and structure are important, humans and our brains tend to make connections between what we hear, what we read. We form those connections in our brain when we notice patterns. So the more language, whatever it may be, English, French, Spanish, whatever you're focusing on, whatever language you want to improve, if you get enough of it, your brain is so smart that you're going to subconsciously start noticing patterns and naturally learn grammar. Now, to fine-tune your grammar, it can be very beneficial and helpful to study it. However, the mistake is to focus too much on grammar and get stuck on these nitpicky points of, this tense is a little wrong, or I forgot an article. The important thing is to start communicating, and that goes with the second common mistake, not speaking enough right away. So as soon as you start learning a language, you should start speaking it. I mean, from day one, word one. You don't have to speak to another person. I didn't say that. You could speak to your dog, your plants, yourself. But you have to get the words out of your mouth. You have to start training your mouth muscles. That sounds kind of weird, but you have to get used to producing the sounds and words in that language. Even if your pronunciation is not correct entirely, you can fine-tune that later. The most important thing with language learning, which is why I think I like it, is that you have to take action to improve. You can't just think about it. You have to actually do it and then improve, evolve, and fine-tune as you go. The third common mistake, which might be counterintuitive, is learning too much vocabulary at once. So I know people who sit down with a list of 1,000 new vocabulary words and they think they're so fluent because they memorized 1,000 vocabulary words. But do you actually feel comfortable using them? There's a difference between passive learning, where you know what the words mean if you see them in a book or something, and active learning, meaning you can produce what you have learned. You can use those words in sentences. You can think of them on the fly, spontaneously, when you're in a conversation. And that is more difficult, as I'm sure you know. Okay, so let's dive into the proven strategies to learn any language fast, no matter your starting point. These are universal. I've applied them myself, learning other languages and teaching English as a second language, of course. So these are also principles that are part of our Go Natural English Complete course, which I highly suggest that you check out. You can get information on it by going to gonaturalenglish.com. First up, set clear, measurable goals. Instead of saying, I want to become fluent in Spanish, which was and still is my goal, it's better to say something more specific. Set a smaller, measurable goal. I want to be able to introduce myself in Spanish and order coffee in Spanish by the end of this week. So it is also time-bound. You may have heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, reasonable, and timely. So this is going to help you to measure your improvements much more clearly. You're going to get more motivation from being able to do that than just saying, I want to be generally fluent in Spanish. Because what does that even mean? That means something different to me, to you, to someone else. So we have to set these clear goals in order to be able to break them down and take the steps we need to take to reach our goals. And I think from my experience talking with a lot of language learners about their goals, that you will find your fluency goals much easier to achieve than you thought. Because we think that there's like 100 steps or 1,000 steps even between where we are now and true fluency, because we have not defined that. You might even feel like true fluency is beyond your reach because you really have not defined it. But you could probably reach your next small goal in a couple of steps, in a couple of days. And then those steps and those days will build on each other as you set new goals. So you understand, it's better to set clear, smaller goals than some big, nebulous, general, impossible to define goal like fluency in general. Okay, next, you want to immerse yourself in the language you're learning. If I'm learning French, if I want to brush up on my French, I'm going to listen to music in French every day. I'm going to watch the news in French. I am going to watch YouTube in French. I'm going to look for social media groups in French. I'm going to immerse myself, maybe get a French book. I mean, maybe even go out to eat at a French restaurant. I don't care. Maybe there's no one French who works there, but it will make me feel more immersed, okay? And they have really good food. So anyway, it's not enough to just think about learning the language or talk about French in my native language, which is English. You have to immerse yourself. You have to get that input, that language into your brain. And it's so important, as I mentioned, because your brain will start developing patterns. It will start recognizing patterns, is what I mean to say, and developing connections between grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, all of the things that make yourself fluent. And hearing native speakers through immersing yourself in authentic content, meaning authentic, produced by natives for natives, not just textbook content, will really help you to learn those natural phrases and sound more native like yourself. Use flashcards. You can use physical paper flashcards, or you could use an online flashcard tool, but repetition is so important. Sometimes instead of flashcards, I like to just write down new words in my journal, in my notebook, and that's okay too. The idea is to make sure to go back and review each time you study, hopefully a little bit each day, because consistency and frequency is important. But you have to see a new word or hear a new word, have exposure to this new word at least 25 times to start to remember it. And so many people lose patience with themselves and think that they're not smart because they see a word once and then forget it. I'm sorry, that's normal. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. You just have to adjust your expectation and realize that learning a language is not instant. It's not as easy as downloading an app. You actually have to put in the work, the reps, like going to the gym. But the good news is it doesn't take a long time. You just have to be consistent and have that review time each day. Again, like going to the gym. You don't really have to spend 5 hours at the gym every day to get fit. It's probably enough to spend like 15 to 30 minutes. Get a little workout in. It's definitely better than nothing, and you're going to be fitter than ever soon. So of course, apply this to your language learning. 5 to 10 minutes a day of review. Ideally 15 is enough to stay fresh and learn new things in the language. The next strategy is to speak from day one. And this is where Live XP comes in handy. So with the Live XP tutoring, you can practice even simple phrases, even if you're just beginning in a language, but certainly you can practice conversation if you're more advanced. And so let me show you inside the Live XP website.
One of the best ways to learn is by speaking from the beginning, even if it's just simple phrases. This is where Live XP, a language learning platform, comes in handy. Live XP offers personalized one-on-one lessons with over 2,000 tutors teaching 30+ languages. Plus, they recently launched the AI-powered Personalized Path, which provides interactive grammar, listening, and reading exercises while recommending the perfect one-on-one tutor to match your learning style and help you practice speaking. This makes Live XP a comprehensive solution for language learning, combining personalized AI training with real practice with native speakers. Live XP has partnered with Go Natural English to give you a special limited-time offer of 30% off. Learn languages with tutors on Live XP and get your first 99-cent trial lesson by following the link livexp.biz /naturalenglish99. Add promo code naturalenglish30 at the checkout to get 30% off a monthly or quarterly subscription.
LiveXP is amazing because it allows you to practice real conversation with native speaker teachers, regardless of what the language is that you're learning. So it builds your confidence when you can practice in real time and get feedback from the teachers. You can instantly correct yourself and see your improvements fast. And what's more is LiveXP has actually partnered with Go Natural English to give you, the Go Natural English community, a special code for 30% off. It's Natural English 30. So use that code, use the link in the description to go to LiveXP and try your first free trial lesson for just 99 cents and then get 30% off when you sign up for their membership. And remember, this is not just for English learning. This is for all languages. A language exchange partner. So that I would put a sticky note on my refrigerator that said reizoku, which is refrigerator in Japanese. And yes, this is a little thing, but it can help you to immerse yourself and grow your vocabulary quickly, especially if you're more of a beginner. If you're more advanced, you could journal in your target language, set your phone settings to the target language. Next, you could incorporate the language you're learning into your daily life. So if you don't have a language exchange partner or that doesn't interest you, I highly recommend with sticky notes. You can label objects. I used to do this with Japanese when I was living in Japan and learning the language. Or try recipes in your target language. Just incorporate it into your everyday life. So add promo code naturalenglish30 for 30% off a monthly or quarterly subscription. It's really an affordable way to improve your language learning and your fluency fast. There may be someone who is also practicing your target language or someone who wants to exchange. Maybe they're learning your native language. So there are a lot of websites out there and even groups on social media where you can connect with people for a free language exchange. And it's really neat. It's like the modern version of pen pals. Shadowing. Even if you do have a language exchange partner, actually shadowing is a great exercise. What it means is that you copy some native speaker that you listen to. It could be me right now, but you could listen to a speech in English on YouTube or a podcast in English that you enjoy. And as soon as you hear the native speaker speak, you start to say the word after them. So I can't actually show you by myself, but it's like being a shadow to that speaker, meaning that you are saying exactly what you hear as soon as you hear it. It feels a bit awkward at first, but this really builds your fluency and improves your pronunciation fast. And these little tricks make words stick better in your memory. You're always asking me how to remember words faster and better. Well, this is really my number one tool, is to take the time to create these connections in your mind. It's a weird thought, but it definitely connects those ideas and the sounds of schmetter and smash, or flutter, which is what a butterfly does. It flutters its wings. And now all of a sudden, I know this random vocabulary word and I'm more likely to remember it because I've created connections in my brain through a mnemonic device. Don't let the word mnemonic scare you. It actually just means creating connections. Just with role plays. So you don't fly smashing into a tree, or rhyming words that help you to remember vocabulary. So for example, the word in German for butterfly is Schmetter. Imagine a butterfly. Use mnemonics. Mnemonics are sounds. Finally, always have to just practice real, actual conversation. You can say, hey, I would like to practice a job interview, or what's another situation that you would like to practice? You could tell me in the comments. This is something that you could do by writing out the role play in your journal. You could even ask ChatGPT to write out a role play for you to practice on your own or with a partner or with a live online tutor. Be consistent and be patient. Understand that fluency doesn't come just with clicking to download an app. There are so many great tools out there with technology and AI and the internet that learning is really at our fingertips. But the most important thing is to take action consistently over time. And that is the way that we develop real fluency in any language relatively quickly. But we have to set the expectation for ourselves that learning a language is part of our lifestyle. It's not something that just happens overnight or by taking a pill. You have to live the language. So it is a commitment, but it brings so much joy when you can communicate in another language. So I would love to know if you have other tips for becoming fluent fast. You can share them in the comments. If you enjoyed this lesson, then let me know. Subscribe here to Go Natural English because it actually really helps to support the channel and helps us to bring you new lessons every Wednesday. So thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now. Another quick tip is to incorporate